All right, guys, if you haven't met Scott, this is Scott from Med Gadget.
Hey, Scott.
Scott, give everybody a wave. You can see them all clearly.
Yeah.
Great.
Virtual version.
You guys can, in a minute you'll all see Scott on the screen behind you. So Scott, did they tell you a little bit about what you're wearing? The exoskeleton, or R70i aging suit.
I thought I was going to become Tony Stark, so what am I wearing?
Oh, well, maybe later. Maybe later we can turn you into Iron Man, but right now I want to tell you a little bit about the suit. And can you face forward for everybody right here? And also your camera too, so we can get some good pictures for you. The exoskeleton that you have on, first off, you felt a little heavy when you walked out here, you told me.
A little bit.
Yeah, excuse me, because it accurately simulates about 40 pounds of either weight that you could gain as you get older, or as you get older, some muscle loss. So you're carrying what could be some old age on you. The exoskeleton, it has electronic brakes on it. These brakes right now are blue, Scott, and blue means you have unrestricted mobility. So give a wave to everybody. Give a big wave out there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you kindly, Sharita. When they turn to red, though, throughout the demonstration, the physical load we're going to put on the joints is going to limit your mobility. It's going to, yeah, you're going to have a tough time moving around and waving. And you'll notice that right away when we do that. The exoskeleton, if you... In just a minute, we'll have you turn around for us. That way we can... And Sharita, can we help Scott just turn around so we can point out the backpack? There you go. The exoskeleton is connected to the backpack, and this right here is the brains of the operation. It has computers in it. It has digital signal processors in it, servo controllers, Scott, along with heating, power, and cooling systems. That way it keeps the suit powered, it keeps you moving and active, and it controls everything from the exoskeleton to, and we'll turn you back around to the front one more time, all the way up to what's on your head right now. You're looking out of high-definition cameras. This is a part of an augmented stereo visual reality system. And what we do with that is everything you're seeing. Hey, can you guys in the back wave out there so Scott can see you? And you've got all of them, right? What we do is we record everything you're seeing, we pipe it back into the computer, and then in real-time image processing, we put it right back out in front of you, and that gives us the ability to go through some ailments that are commonly age-related. Very similar technology works in your earphones. We have noise isolating microphones that take in the background noise, pipe them into the backpack, and when we put them back into what you're hearing, we can walk you through some age-related hearing loss that happens when you're 10 years older, 20 years older, 30 years older, but you don't have to wait that long. We're going to do it in a matter of minutes. So, yeah, Scott, we have control of your body. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let's make me whole.
Here we go, we're going to go for it. Sharita, can we help Scott walk over to test out his vision? And as we know, there are many age-related vision impairments that people experience. Scott, we're going to walk you through 4 of the most common, if that's okay. And what I'd like for you to do is describe how your vision is changing to everyone, and be as specific as you can.
Okay. Yeah, my peripheral's starting to get cloudy, dark. I can only see from there to center my vision right now. And yeah, I've got no peripheral vision basically.
So basically you can just see Shagun, George, and our Deep, our brand ambassadors. You don't have anything to the left or to the right.
Nope.
And you heard Scott mention peripheral vision. That's exactly what goes away first when you're dealing with glaucoma. You've heard it called tunnel vision, right? Because it feels like you're looking down the end of a tunnel. All these cells in your eyes that are responsible for seeing, we put a lot of internal pressure, not on you, but that's what happens with glaucoma. And internal pressure limits your vision from the left or the right. Scott, could you tell me what you would feel comfortable doing if this was your everyday vision?
Sitting on the couch and watching TV.
Right. It would limit a lot of your ability to be independent. And as everyone out there who is watching, we have a description of exactly what's happening on the screen behind you and on our monitors, Scott. People who are watching are experiencing the same visual effects that you are. This is very interactive because, as you know, the best way to learn sometimes is to go through it yourself. Education through first-hand experience. That's how we want to really build empathy and awareness about the aging process. I want to walk you through another process right here. Describe how this is affecting your vision.
It's a big gray, blurry ball that's growing bigger in the center of my vision, and now it's completely blurring my vision.
And this started from the center of your vision, almost like the inverse of what you went through. This is macular degeneration, Scott, and as you're aware, because of your work with MedGadget, not only would this limit some simple everyday things like, I would be holding a phone in front of you right now, I'd be holding a notebook in front of you. Could you see it?
No.
You couldn't see it. It would really take away a lot of those independent everyday things that you do because the image processing part of the eye, the macula, is slowly deteriorating, and it does this over time. So if we don't catch it right here, Scott, right at the beginning, and get it checked out and arrested, we can't help you because it will progress to almost complete loss of vision. And the same thing for glaucoma. These are two conditions that we can't reverse yet, so it's important to know what they look like when they first start, so that way we can stop them from ever getting to those late stages. At those late stages, could you tell everybody how you think that would impact a daily routine?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah, and on the monitors that people are watching, it's a driving simulation. Do you think anybody who would be at late stage glaucoma or having macular degeneration at that point, could they drive?
No, they shouldn't.
And they shouldn't be driving. And we've noticed that a lot in older relatives who are dealing with this. They decide not to drive, and that can impact a whole family because then you have to take care of someone and help them with their mobility and getting around. Here, Scott, is one of the most common forms of age-related eye impairment, and I want you to describe how it's affecting your vision.
It's only happening in one eye. It's kind of a bright, very blurry sight in my right eye.
So
left eye.
Your left eye is normal, and your right eye, it's really blurry and cloudy. What you're experiencing is a cataract, and a cataract, as you can tell from the monitors, is a cloudy part of the lens. It's a clouding of the crystalline lens of the eye, and it is reversible through routine surgery, as we know, but if it gets this far, do you feel disoriented at all?
Oh yeah, definitely.
With this,
You can't.
you can't exactly, or you try to just be looking out of one eye instead of the other. It could change your balance, it could change a lot of things. And we want you to change perhaps some of your habits, because you can prevent cataracts. Cataracts, well, they happen because of a lot of exposure of sunlight to the eyes, UV light, and sunglasses. Do you have a good pair?
I do.
Do you wear them when you're out and about, especially walking around?
I sure
Las
do.
Vegas and California, where there's a lot of sun, keep them on, because once it gets to that stage, you'd have to get routine surgery to correct it, and we'd rather not have you go that route. So there are preventative measures too. Here's a really common problem that occurs in the eyes. And for many people, it's just really annoying. It's not a sign of things to come. But how does this look to you, Scott?
Yeah, they're like floaters, little pieces of flint-like things in my vision.
That's 100% right. They're floaters, and floaters are those bits of protein that break off. I believe the technical term, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is gunk. Gunk is a medical term. And the gunk, right, it casts the shadow on the eye, and it's just annoying. And they you know, we learn to live with them, we learn to see past them, but when they are accompanied by those bright flashes, do you notice those every now and again? That could be a sign of a detached retina. So we want to tell people, if you notice floaters, keep that in your mind, because if flashes are accompanied with it, you need to see your eye care specialist right away to make sure it doesn't lead to surgery to fix your retina. And Scott, I want you to speak up really loud right now and give me your thoughts on how some very common age-related vision impairments changed your perspective for the aging process.
Yeah, I would certainly be more hesitant to go out, to certainly drive. It could possibly affect even social interactions with other people if you can't see them very clearly. So it can definitely affect every part of your life.
So it's very important, as we are all getting ready to grow older on our terms, to talk about these things and really educate people and really give them that first-hand experience, just like what Scott is going through. You did a great job with the vision. Sharita, can we walk him over to the audio demonstration we have? And again, Scott, I'm going to tell the audience this because they're going to go through this with you. It's very interactive. Here on the Senator, yes, the Senator monitor was donated from the Capitol. The center monitor, we have a spectrogram, and the spectrogram shows the frequencies. We have our lows on the left side, the highs up on the right side, and everything in the middle, and that's how we process sound. And you'll see how it changes and how it will affect Scott's hearing. And here is ringing that, can you describe for us?
Yeah, it's a very high-pitched noise, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and high-pitched is perfect because it's all the way on the high end of the spectrum. It's spiking, and it's tinnitus or tinnitus, and this is age-related hearing impairment that happens to people when they're around loud noises and not protecting their ears. Concerts, you ever been to a rock concert?
Mm-hmm.
You ever had that effect happen? You sat too close to the speakers?
Oh yeah.
That thankfully went away after, what, 24 hours? But people who have tinnitus, it's with them 24/7, it's with them every day, and it doesn't have to be. Wearing headphones, having earplugs. If you're working in construction, that's a big profession that deals with this. People who work in police and fire with all the sirens, machinery, tech around here. And here's what makes this also difficult, because tinnitus
can also be accompanied with this muffled sense of hearing loss. How far away do you think I am right now?
Gosh, I can't even tell. It's hard to say.
You can't even tell. What does this sound like to you?
It's kind of like you hear the transcripts, the audio playback of mission control and the astronauts. It's muffled like that, very kind of low quality.
And it will sound like I'm in outer space.
Yeah.
And as everyone who's watching, I'm standing right next to Scott. This is what presbycusis can do. All the lows are gone, all the highs are gone, all he gets is that muffled sound in the middle. I would almost have to come right in front of you to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. That way you can read my lips. And presbycusis can be accompanied with tinnitus, and when you factor in the background noise from CES, tell me how long do you think you can have a conversation with all this going on?
Oh, not very long. 2 minutes maybe.
Not really long, a few minutes.
And you brought up a good point earlier. You said that a lot of age-related impairments, they could make people feel socially isolated. And this was something that members of my family who were older had to go through when they had all this ringing in their ears and this muffled sound, and it made it very hard for the family to reach out to them at certain events, especially around the holidays, because they didn't want to talk to us, and we didn't understand why they didn't want to talk to them. Do you think you have a little bit of a better understanding?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And do you think that would help not only with awareness but also empathy?
Yes.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do, trying to build that up. This last effect, Scott, it has nothing to do with your hearing, but it's a neurological condition that we can illustrate how it would affect people through our technology. It's called aphasia. And before I pull it up, because I want you to help me with this one, Mary had a little lamb, her fleece was white as snow, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Could you just recite that for me real quick and be as loud and articulate as you can?
Mary had a little lamb, his fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
That is perfect, he did great. You have a wonderful memory from growing up. Now try that again for me as I put this simulation of aphasia on.
Mary had a little lamb, his fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
You did great there. A little bit of a hesitation. Why were you hesitating at times? Because I know you know it.
There was like a delay from when the words came out of my mouth to when I could hear it in my ears.
Exactly, and a lot of people who are dealing with aphasia, that is just how their communication pattern happens. The brain is not sending the right signals to the mouth, so you've got the thought, you know exactly what you want to say, but you have a hard time communicating that to other people. Our technology is mirroring that, right? But at the same time, introduce yourself in terms of what do you do for a living. Tell everybody that. Try having a conversation about just what you do for a living with this aphasia simulation on.
So I'm a senior editor at MedGadget. We are the internet's leading medical technology, health technology blog.
And how comfortable did you feel talking with that echo and with that delay?
Yeah, I was kind of hesitant.
Right, and it almost prevents you from getting those thoughts out clearly. So again, if you ever thought that someone was just slurring their words, right, or hesitating when they're talking, it could be that they're dealing with this. It could be that they have this neurological condition. It has nothing to do with that they don't want to talk to you or they're not smart enough to do it. It's about understanding what they're going through so that we can connect with them and communicate with them better and make them feel better. But now we want to make you perhaps feel a little bit older, so let's walk out physically right here. We're going to physically age you now. We're going to have you face center. and we're going to put this exoskeleton to work. Remember when I talked to you about the blue brakes on the Sioux? Reach up for me as if you're climbing a rope. Remember the old rope climb in gym class? Reach up as high as you can. You want to really climb high up that rope, and you want to do it real quick. Scott, we want to set a record so we can blog about it, how fast you do the rope climb. Watch what happens when these electronic brakes now turn from blue to red. How do you feel doing the rope climb? Ugh.
Like the joints need oil.
Like the joints need oil, and you slow it down considerably. We put on some physical load on these joints. We are not only limiting Scott's mobility, but we're making him work harder. And a lot of people who deal with rheumatoid arthritis, this is what they deal with. Something very similar as reaching up maybe to fix a light bulb or to reach out to get something from the top shelf. Scott, would that be difficult to do?
Yes.
You would probably want to ask someone else to help you. And also, you got to remember that the people who are going through this, they're probably dealing with pain also. Scott is not dealing with pain. That's not a part of our demonstration. You didn't,
not yet, at least.
Not yet, at least. Well, you didn't pay for that, though we did sign the waivers, so perhaps we could negotiate it. We're going to bring Scott back down because he's got a good understanding of how his upper body changed right there. Now we're going to work on the lower body. Sharita and Jimmy, thank you for your help. Scott, we're going to put you on the treadmill. And I know you were curious about the treadmill. We want to come right up, Dr. David, so you can get some images of how Scott is walking. We're going to see how mobile he is when we go through some minor load on the joints and the lower body. Scott, how long do you think you could go for a walk on this beautiful beach?
At least an hour.
Right now, you can walk for an hour, and pretty comfortably. You are carrying a little bit more weight, as we know, but you could still do it for about an hour. Scott's ready, but watch what happens when, again, those electronic brakes turn from blue to red. I would say your whole body has now changed posture, and you are walking slower. How does it feel to you? Describe us what is happening.
I feel like I have fewer joints. I'm like a stick figure.
Almost like a stick figure, right?
Yeah.
How much harder are you working right now?
Significantly.
Significantly, right? Almost 3 to 4 times harder just to do something as simple as walking because of this symmetrical loss of mobility. And it isn't fully lost, he's still moving, but at times it can feel like you don't want to move, like you don't want to go for an everyday walk when it is this difficult, when the load on the joints is causing this much stress. Let's do one side now. We're just going to do a little bit of an impairment on one side. And now it looks like, are you limping, Scott?
I think so.
You think so? And in fact, you are. How does this feel? How does your body feel?
It's off balance. It's, disorienting.
Off balance and
Like
disorienting. Right. And no, do not walk into the ocean. We don't want you to do that, but you wouldn't be focused on the view right here. You'd be focused more about how you can just keep going or how you can not deal with this limp. Let's switch legs. And I want you to describe how it changed on your right side. Whoa, this changed pretty significantly, Scott. Are you a righty?
I'm a righty.
So you would say your right side is your dominant side?
Yeah.
Because it looks to me like you're favoring that side. Can you describe to me how this has changed your ability to walk?
Yeah, everything feels very heavy, and every step, my whole body feels it.
Whole body feels it. So just a little bit of an impairment in his right leg changed how his whole body felt. Scott, we want to bring you 30, 20, we're going to completely bring you back to your age right now because you hit the nail right on the head in saying how the whole body is affected by the aging process. And now, Scott, I want you to share for everybody, now that you're back, what was the big wow moment for you?
I think everything overall, I think especially the movement, because I feel like the vision part, the hearing part, you can replicate with headphones, with VR goggles, but certainly the joint thing is a little bit more expensive and intense.
Wholeheartedly. How would this change the way you have a conversation about wanting to age on your terms with your family, friends, or loved ones?
Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly encourage people my own age to just stay fit, do your exercise, eat healthy, and for my grandparents who are kind of going through stuff like this,
exactly.
I definitely feel more empathy for them.
And that is the whole reason why we're doing this, because a lot of people, as you know, because you blog about this, when you're young and you're healthy, you don't think about planning for the future. You think about what you're going through now, the financial considerations that you have now. You don't think about planning ahead. And also, it's not a comfortable topic to always talk about. It can be very difficult, especially like you said, with your older relatives or with your grandparents. But when you get to have a first-hand experience like this, education, awareness, and what was the word that you said? Empathy, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're getting this message out. Because as you said earlier, you want to grow older on your terms, but you want to stay healthy and active as long as you can. Any final thoughts for us and the Med Gadget team about the aging experience?
This is awesome. I wish everyone could do this.
That is our goal. We certainly hope to make that happen. Let's give Scott a big round of applause.